Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Chen, currently a visiting scholar at the Needham Research Institute and a postdoctor at Shandong University of Traditional Chinese Medical. My research examines natural history exchanges between China and global traditions. I'm honored to present today on Himalayas peer forgotten meteorological monitoring and knowledge dissemination in Yatung Customs borderlands. In November 1863, Robert Hurd was appointed Inspector General Customs, marking the beginning of his more than 14 years tenure over the Customs Service. On November 12, 1869, Inspector General of Robert Hurd proposed implementing meteorological work within the Customs Service. This was the background to the overall advertisement of meteorological work within the Customs Service before the establishment of Yatung Customs. Why focus on Yadong? And what about the Chinese customers' meteorological work at Tibet? During the first half of the 20th century, the Chinese Maritime Customs Meteorological Network comprised 44 stations, primarily located at trading ports along coastlines and rivers, with additional outposts at trading ports. This picture on the left shows that bilingual Chinese English stations registered in January 1929, listing the 44 stations that submit meteorological records to the Institute of Meteorology National Research Institute. Given that Chinese customs established stations in southwest, in Tibet, I questioned, did their Yadong outpost conduct meteorological operations? If so, how do they do some meteorological work? And driven by these questions, I have undertaken this research. This is my context of my report today, which consists of 5 parts. The first part is Yadong Customs. Yatung Customs sits at a strategical tri-boundary junction, Buden to the east, and the tri-point of China, Buden, and India at Jibu Mother Snow Mountain to the south, India Sikkim to the west, and China's Gamba, Kamba, and Bailang counties to the north. In 1893, Robert Hurd, the Inspector General of Customs, planted the establishment of a customs office in Yadong. And the next year, in 1894, Taylor, an Englishman, was appointed Inspector General of Customs in Yadong. In 1889, the British India government appointed a white as the political office in Sikkim. The Sikkim political official frequently integrated with the Qing dynasty Yatung Customs Commissionary. After the opening of Yadong, Welch shared a room with the first Commissionary of Customs, Taylor, and they had a close relationship. And then Taylor's successor, Harbison, even referred to White was the only official with whom he could discuss important matters. Subsequently, a successive Commissionary of Customs in Yadong also frequently met with White near his post. The second part is about India Meteorological Department. This department is established in 1875 under the administration of the Department of Revenue, Agriculture, and Commerce. It operates under this framework. And Harry Blandford was the first meteorological reporter to the government of India, admired the meteorological program implemented by the Chinese Maritime Customs Service because they have the same same sense. Aligning with his version for Indian meteorological work. Blandford postulate advocate for expanding India observational network, contending that owning a comprehensive system of weather stations could advance understanding of continental schedule weather phenomena. In 1889, Blandford, in a practical guide to the climate and weather of India, linked the atmosphere and the land, shifting the focus from the previous emphasis on oceans and cyclones to show average air pressure and wide direction over land. Blandford categorized India observatories into 5 types. And the Himalayas Valley Observatory are a significant category. This size represents India's pursuit of natural knowledge. This is related to the drought and the rainfall experienced in northern India in recent years. Blandford speculates that the cyclical changes in the Himalayan climate influence rainfall levels. The third part is the Yatung Customs details meteorological work. The Englishman Overland Mail, a local English language newspaper in Kolkata, reported that it published a report entitled "It is curious that Tibet should be included in the Bengal meteorological observations." Customs at Yatung under the charge of Taylor, the customs commercial these stations, was started at the succession of White, the man who is political office at the Sikkim, at present with Sikkim Tibet boundary commercial. In July 1894, Taylor reported to Robert Hurt, the Inspector General of Customs. He said, "The Indian Meteorological Department has provided me with the rain gauge and microsmomes and minimum thermometers free of charge. I anticipate that Your Excellence will not object to me submitting meteorological observation reports to them. If Your Excellency has no further instruction, a statistical report should be submitted to the Shanghai Register Office starting this season. Therefore, the meteorological records of the Yatung Customs will appearing in both external Indian Meteorological Department and the internal customs statistical reports. Furthermore, the Indian Meteorological Department annual report mentions that observations provided by Yatung, in addition to routine temperature and rainfall measurements. It is interestingly that during the winter of 1894 to 1895, the Meteorological Department successfully collected comprehensive and accurate data in Himalayas snowfall, timing, and extent, and at that time highlighting 21 individuals who provided observation records, and with Taylor, the Yatung Customs commercials is in it. Archives from Yatung County, Shigat City, data back to the later half of the 19th century, record that since the end of September, heavy snowfall and had caused a shortage of food and food, resulting in the deaths of many livestock. The customs commercially concerned about the local environmental would monitor snowfall levels. In 1882, the Indian Meteorological Department began extensively collecting information on the extent and thickness of snowfall in the Himalayas, records which could be used for meteorological analysis in the place. In November 1895, in a memorable transforming duties to his successor, Hobson, Taylor mentioned the meteorological work at the Yatung Customs. Upon assuming the post commissionary customs, Hobson continued record and advising the meteorological work at Yatung Customs. His monthly reports to the Inspector General indicate that from November 1895 to June 1898, meteorological records were maintained almost continuously within these reports, provided a related complete picture of the natural climate variations at the stations. For example, just like the November 1895 and December 1896. This monthly weather summaries included in the reports stemmed directly from the daily weather observations diligently maintained by the Yatung customers. In India, the Madras Weekly Mail newspapers recorded that the Indian Meteorological Department thanked Mr. Henderson, the Yatung Customs Commissioner in Tibet, for constantly sending rainfall reports over the past years. As these data were used for cyclone research in the Bay of Bengal. At that time, the Indian Meteorological Department faced severe budget cuts and staffing pressure in the later 19th and early 20th centuries. Due to Yadong unique geographical location and free provision of snowfall information from the Himalayas, the Yatung Customs Service received praise and gratitude in the Meteorological Department annual reports and in English language India newspapers for providing meteorological information. In October 1906, Chen Yutang became the first Chinese customs commissioner of the Yatung Customs. Due to the tense situation at the stalemate between various factions, the Yatung customers ceased conducting the meteorological observations in January 1907. This work was then handled by a customs political office in Sikkim of the United Kingdom. However, the annual report submitted by the Zhang Yutang to the Inspector General of Customs still included a general overview of the climate in the Yatung area until he issued his final report in 1909. The practice of Yatung customers in mentioning meteorological records in its reports began with the first inspector of customs, Taylor, and ended with Zhang Yutang. Therefore, existing monthly and annual reports of the Yatung customers contain meteorological records from June 1894 to 1909. Although there were some situations that the inspector of customers failed to mention in their reports. The natural climate conditions in the Tibet region over more than 10 years are basically presented in a complete manner. Part 4 is exchange and termination of natural knowledge. Meteorological records from Yatung customers were compiled and statistical analyzed within the customer's office, and also disseminated to a certain extent through a compilation by the Indian Meteorological Department, such as American meteorologist Fitzhugh Timon, who was in charge of meteorological work for the U.S. colonial in the West India during the 19th century. He believed that meteorological work had barely begun in most of China inland provinces such as Tibet and Mongolia, and that these regions made no contribution to creation of Chinese weather maps. The final part is the conclusion. From my research, I get that the Yatung Customs is the Tibet first modern meteorological observatory and a pivotal node in the Qing imperial meteorological network, bridge a critical gap in high altitude observations. The second is initiate at the principles of British colonial officials in India. Yatung Customs meteorological operations relied on instruments from the Indian Meteorological Department, with data circulating exclusively within the Customs Service and the Indian Meteorological Department. And by the later 19th century, Yadong meteorological records remained confined to exchange between the later Qing customers and India Meteorological Department, failing to contribute to international climate research. As an impatient of Tibet modernization, meteorological exploration led by successive customers, commissioners demonstrate both groundbreaking significance and historical limitations function as a keynote in the colonial-era global meteorological network, where pioneer significance endeavors in China fertile regions. That's all my report. Thank you.